Being able to cut subject out of a frame and place them wherever is such a valuable skill as an editor. This video, I will cover every single way that you can mask in DaVinci Resolve. My name's Dan, you're watching DanVinci, and let's jump straight into it. So in the timestamps, there will be all the different techniques that I'll be using today to mask out an object, and different situations and different case scenarios will better suit different techniques. So if you're not sure which case scenario is best for you, it's probably best you just watch the whole video and subscribe and like the video and comment. Now the first situation is manual cutting out using Fusion. This is perfect for sort of standstill objects if you want a really nice refined look. So when we're in Fusion, you'll be greeted with this, a media in node and a media out node. And you may notice there is a little blue triangle. That is our mask input. That's what we're going to be attaching our mask that we will draw in just a moment. So what we want to do first is spawn in a polygon 1 node. You can drag it in from your toolbar here that you'll see. If your toolbar is different, because you can make custom toolbars or you don't have those there, you can do control space and search polygon 1 and get the node that way. So now what we want to do is attach this to our media 1, but you may notice our output, it's gone. That's fine. If you go into the inspector in the top right corner, if you don't see this, you want to click this just here and click invert, and that should bring your input right back. So what we want to do now is we want to zoom in on our object using the scroll wheel, and we want to manually cut out our object. Now the benefits of this technique are that you get a much better cut. The negatives are it's all manually done, which means it's going to take you a long time. And if it's a moving object, you might as well give up, because the object will obviously move out the mask and you'd need to reanimate it frame by frame. So when you're masking, what you can do, you can click to draw a line, and if you hold and click and drag out, you can create this eased curve, which is fantastic for sort of curved objects. So at the minute, this roof isn't quite straight. So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking on the object here, dragging it out, and I'm getting a nice curve, which just matches the sort of roof line of the car, like so, like that. There we go. Now, obviously you need to attach the shape into itself so it completes a circuit. And once you do this, your object will disappear. If you wanted to mask out the object and leave a gap, there you go, you're done. Or if you go into the inspector, click invert, you've now got your car. And the benefit of this technique, like I said, is just how refined it is. If we go back into the edit page, we can see the car is, well, it's basically perfectly cut out. You can go into the inspector, go onto soft edge, and you can actually make these edges softer if you find they're a bit sharp. So I tend to just do something like that, just scrolling on the numbers. Then we get a nice clean blurred edge, which looks a lot nicer. But the negative of this is if we click play, the car moves out of the mask. Now in the Fusion page, you have this right click here for shape animation. When you see this keyframe selected, that means this particular set of points that you've created have been set in place so that at this particular frame, at this particular moment, those points will be in that particular shape. So if we move along in the timeline, you will see at 180, the keyframes aren't aligned with the car, but if we select them all and drag them across, notice that this keyframe is created and now those keyframes move. I wouldn't recommend this for this particular situation for exactly the reason you're seeing on screen now. The mask just completely messes up after just one frame of clicking play, but there is better techniques than this. Now within Fusion, there is another masking technique, and that is the magic mask. You can find this in both Fusion and the color page. I'd strongly recommend you use it in the color page for one reason only: it's faster. For some reason, magic mask within the Fusion page is just a lot slower and more cumbersome to use. Making sure we've got our media 1 selected, click control space on your keyboard and search magic mask. Here you'll see a little magic mask node is created, and then if we just go into our preview here and click a few dots on our object, maybe in the corners, you'll see our object is cut out almost immediately. Now that is a lot quicker than manually doing it like I just showed you before. And what's even better about this is if you go into the inspector here and we click better, it will actually make the mask slightly better. The negative of this is I find it flickers a little bit more and does have some errors, but overall I think it is quite literally better. And then what we want to do is click these 2 arrows here and track our object. And this is precisely the reason why I recommend you use the color page, which is what I'm going to show you in just a second. But basically when we click track, this is just painfully slow for some reason. But in the color page, tracking quick as anything, which is odd because it's the exact same thing. What is going on there, Blackmagic? What is going on? Once it's created, you can go into the edit page and you can see your object and click play and it will be just cut out. It's fantastic, really.
That is fantastic.
I'm sure having a more powerful computer helps this, but overall, it's just generally slow. The positives of this technique, it's the easiest out of all of them to mask, by far. There's very few button presses. You can get a mask done very quickly if you don't need to track all that much. Now let's move into the color page, and this is where we're going to explore two things. One, obviously the magic mask again, but using the color page. Also mask tracking, which is built into the color page too. So we're in the color page now, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this little icon here. This is our mask tab, window, thing, whatever you want to call it. And then what we want to do is if we want to make a manual mask, we can draw one out using this pen tool here. If we select it and then we can, draw, or we can make a square mask and make a square. And you can see on our notary area, it's having an effect. But the reason you're not seeing it here is if you click on this icon here, you can see what the mask is doing within its frame just here, this little icon here, which I find quite handy to use. When you make a mask and you go into the edit page, again, you may notice nothing has actually happened. That is simply because in the color page, you haven't got your alpha output created. Any effects that create an alpha channel whereby the footage is transparent and has nothing behind it, you need to attach the alpha output to the alpha output of the actual clip. Otherwise, the alpha output doesn't exist. Therefore, it doesn't work. I've explained that poorly, but you get the idea. So I've shown you how to use the square mask. Let's show you how to make a custom mask using the pen tool. So you just click on the pen tool now and you'll notice your cursor becomes a pen. And let's just cut out this number plate here. So I'm gonna just grab that, just like this, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a tutorial, Dan, it's fine. So using the pen tool is very similar to the custom masking that I just showed you in the Fusion page. But the difference is this has a twist. You can actually track the object. So if we go into the track window now, when we're in the tracker window, you can see we've got the tracking sort of timeline just here. And what you want to do is click on the sort of track window, just like we did with the magic mask. And as you can see, it's failing there, but that's fine. We'll ignore that. But overall, it does a half decent job. There is a lot going on in the scene, to be honest. Now, the positives with this technique is it is, again, quite simple and quick. The negatives are the tracker isn't always perfect. It does work for scenes that are a little bit more simple than what I've just shown you on your screen now, but it does have its drawbacks. And if your scene is much more complicated and has much more confusing scenery in for the software, maybe using the magic mask or some other technique is probably best. The benefit of this is what you can do is combine it with keyframing. So we go from clip to frame mode. We can then manually move this mask into place after it's been tracked. It will create a keyframe in our timeline and it will help it basically work and look good. Because at the minute, it's not looking too good, I must say, but it's fine, it's fine. Just scroll to another part of the timeline between the two keyframes. Just move that about, just like that. And just like that, using the tracker and manual keyframing, I've managed to fix this in basically 30 seconds so that it masks out that number plate perfectly. Now, this technique is brilliant for color grade artists. So let's use a circle this time because we're going to use this mask for a different purpose other than cutting out the object. We're going to put the circle around. This inner line, which is thicker, is the main line for the mask. And then these outer lines are its softness. So the larger it is, the greater the blur between the mask and not mask, and then obviously the sharper it is, the closer these lines are together. So I'm going to leave it sort of like that because that's fine. That's all we need. And then what we're going to do is go into the tracker and I'm going to track this object now. And as you can see, this is doing a much better job than what I just showed you using the pen tool. And obviously you can toggle on tilt and rotation and perspective, which I should have really done, but it's fine. Then what you can do here is adjust the color grade. So for example, if I want the car to be more saturated, for example, I can just go right into the saturation, making sure I've got the correct node selected that has the mask on it. That's important, which is this thing here. What we can do is then go into the saturation. We can bring it all the way up if we want, or bring it all the way down if we want the car to look a bit more gritty and black and white, but let's just make it look nice and colorful. So we've just made that car go from that to that. It's subtle, that's what color grading is. Lots of little subtleties that make an entire frame really nice to look at. Now the final one is the magic mask. We've already looked at it in this video in the Fusion page, but now let's look at it in the color page. Now making sure we've got our correct node selected, let's go over here and click on this button right here, the Magic Mask 2. Now this is very similar to sort of the tracking window that you saw with the other masking technique that I just showed you, but over here we've got the Magic Mask 2, which is far better and more precise, and you can make edits to it, and we'll get onto that in just a moment. Like with the magic mask in the Fusion page, it's very similar. Let's just click the dots on our object like so that we want to cut out, ideally in each sort of 4 corners of the object. Now, once this is created, you may notice nothing's really happened. So just click on this icon here and you can see what's going on. And similarly to the Fusion page, we want to just click on better, just to give us a better sort of outline of our car. And again, it's not going to be perfect. It's never going to do a perfect job, but it's certainly much better than what a human can do manually. So we click the tracker now and track our objects using the tracking tool. We just wait literally a few seconds, but look at how much quicker this is than the Fusion page. It's just better. Okay, so once that's tracked in the timeline, you'll see it's now gone all blue, which is perfect. And obviously if you scrub through, you can see your car that's cut out. Obviously, if you go into the edit page, like before, nothing will have happened unless you have the alpha output selected and put on the alpha output channel here. If you don't see this dot, just right click in your area and click add alpha output. Now, if we go through the timeline, what we can see here is, for example, the little mirror on the left-hand side flickers a little bit, as you can see. And what you can do with Magic Mask 2 that you couldn't do before in my last video is you can actually edit this on the fly. So over here in the right-hand corner here of the sort of Magic Mask tool set, you've got various different controls. So you can adjust how the Magic Mask works and increase and decrease the noise, for example, around the edges of the mask. But what I'm going to show you here that I think is really cool is the plus brush tool. And what you can do is you can zoom right in on your object. You can increase and decrease the size of your brush like so, and then you can just add in the edges of your object like that. There you go. And just like adding, you can also take away. So what you can do is go to the brush here, click the minus, and remove the background like that. And there you go, that's 1 frame. Unfortunately, you have to do this frame by frame, but if something is glaringly obviously wrong with your Magic Mask and you can't seem to get it right, and it's only a couple of frames, you do have the option to manually edit that mask. And there you go, that is every single way to mask in DaVinci Resolve 20. I hope you guys found that really informative and enjoyable. My name's Dan, you've watched DanVinci. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.